Hello and welcome back. Today we are looking at Paris Prime. This is not Paris Hilton Prime for those weirdos. This is a weapon that has been named after Le Paris. Right, Paris Prime is probably the third contender for what is the best bow, along with Dread and Ratatacernos. But obviously there is a very strict following of the powerhouse known as Dod-Regnbue. However, most would argue that the best bow is one of Paris Prime, Dread and Ratatacernos. So what is it that makes the Paris Prime a contender for this? Well, for a start, with a maxed prime pressure point, it has over 100% critical chance. It's puncture based, which is very good for armor, and as we all know, the armor scaling in this game is a bitch. And it's got an okay-ish status chance at 20% at base. It's also got a 3-point ribbon disposition, so it's completely neutral, and you can get some pretty hefty stats on the darn thing. Right, and speaking of stats, it's a mastery rank 4 weapon, so you can get it pretty down early on. Its total damage is 100, so that's a little bit lower than the others, but you know, can't really argue for the simple fact that it's 80% puncture, critical chance of 45%, critical multiplier of ×2, and as I said earlier, a 20% status chance. Now, when it is fully charged, its damage output is actually doubled. So it's a bit more like the Dod-Regnbue on this. With some of the others, it's not quite doubled, it's more like as on 80%, maybe 90%, but the Paris Prime is a full-on doubler. Although, as always, with my main problem with the bows at the moment is I am so used to using Ratatacernos that whenever I use a bow that is slower, I freak out. I don't know what it is, my aim, my mobility, everything just goes to shit. Might also be the fact that I have not played Warframe for about a week now. Skill fade is real, people. Anyway, Paris Prime is actually a very good weapon, and it's, for me personally, I think suits Ash quite well, especially if you're using his Shuriken augment. Due to the lack of either massive damage like the Ratatacernos has, particularly if the build I've used, it near enough kills level 200 enemies in 2 hits, provided you get a headshot. And then the slash viral effect of the Dread, what actually can you use to help push Paris Prime higher and higher? Annoyingly, I hate to say it, Ash, use the augment for his one ability. Hitting an enemy with the double damage output at full charge with hunter munitions, weirdly, on this darn thing. Yes, I am aware slash procs are not affected by armor. Do not affected by armor, why not? But it's the initial impact of the double damage on a target that is unarmored. So this does actually work pretty darn well. Obviously there will be a lot of other weird and wacky ways to use this weapon. I just like using it in the sense of using it with this horrible frame. It's like the only reason I actually really enjoy playing Ash that much anymore. But just to point out, armoured unit versus Paris Prime, it's not generally that good. It does work, it does do damage, especially if you're aiming for those beautiful headshots. But if you just, I don't know, give them a bit of the old shuriken, the damage output there is vastly superior. As you can see, these are level 150 corrupted. So yeah, good night, sweet prince, and have a good day to you too, sir. So the build I'm using: Serration, Infected Clip, Hunter Munitions, Point Strike, Vital Sense, Split Chamber, and Vital Acceleration. You may notice I do have a Riven. If you don't have a Riven, I recommend going for Stormbringer for Corrosive. Why am I not using Stormbringer? Because there's an Electric. on my Riven, as well as increase in damage, increase in charge rate, as well as a decrease in impact. But we don't use impact, so that's fine. Anyway, that's me. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you pretty darn soon. Ta-da, have fun, and Merry Christmas, fuckers.